Okay, so the study that I looked into was for postpartum depression among breastfeeding mothers and comparison of prevalence of postpartum depression between breastfeeding and non-breastfeeding mothers. My name is Alex Klein, and I'll be doing this study review video. So the summary of the research problem, basically it's looking into postpartum depression because this is something that's experienced globally among women who become pregnant, and it affects her well-being and ability to care for herself and her infant or child. Children with depressed parents are also more likely to become depressed themselves, other studies have shown. So this is a problem that they want to address, and they're addressing it through breastfeeding to see if that has an effect on postpartum depression. So they want to know if there may be a relationship in infant feeding method and postpartum depression. Also, something to note is they touched on how oxytocin is released during breastfeeding in the mother and how this would increase bonding and attachment for the mother and baby unit. So for the sampling method, this was a study done in Iran, and it was approved by the Institutional Review Board, and staff members and students collaborated to come up with a questionnaire. They decided to use the Edinburgh postpartum depression questionnaire along with gathered some demographic data, and 4 clinics were selected randomly. And then from those clinics, different mothers were chosen, and from those mothers, 78 breastfeeding and 78 non-breastfeeding mothers were selected using random sampling. This was an analytic case control study. So both groups were given the Edinburgh postnatal depression scale and an obstetric and demographic questionnaire. One of these, the questionnaire includes a 10-item self-report done by the mothers to describe feelings and depressive symptoms experienced in the past 7 days. And this is rated on a scale of 0 to 3, and the score is tallied. So scores over 12 identifies they are experiencing postpartum depression. So what they found is that there was a significant difference between the mothers who breastfed and the mothers who did not, and the non-breastfeeding mothers were more likely to experience postpartum depression. 66% of the non-breastfeeding mothers quit because of feelings of inadequate lactation, 15% was because of low infant weight, 8% because maternal illness. So I thought those were other interesting findings. And further research questions. I think just looking into if it's exclusive breastfeeding, if the stop of exclusive breastfeeding leads to postpartum depression, or is it that postpartum depression leads to the stop of breastfeeding? And I would want to know if women were more supported with their mental health during and post-pregnancy, would there be higher rates of breastfeeding resulting in less cases of postpartum depression? So I think a longitudinal study would be very interesting to do, to follow mothers throughout their pregnancies and after, to see what happens with their breastfeeding and how they choose to feed their baby along with their own mental health. And here are the references to the study. Thank you all for listening.